Guys, we're almost finished with our Burt Reynolds tribute. And, of course, we're sad Burt Reynolds passed away a couple of weeks ago at the age of 82. Such a iconic actor, movie star, TV star as well, a voice actor. I remember when I was younger, he was in those cartoons, All Dogs Go to Heaven.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I watched those like mad crazy, had those on repeat for sure. This next film we're going to be reviewing is Brad's all-time favorite Burt Reynolds film. And sadly, Brad's going to be mad at me. I have not seen this version. However, I have seen the Adam Sandler version of The Longest Yard.
That's all right, yeah.
So I apologize for that in advance. But tell me, what am I missing with this movie? Because this is an iconic Burt Reynolds film, and it's a very good film in its own right, correct?
Absolutely. Now, this is obviously the storyline is that he plays a retired quarterback, NFL quarterback, and the very first scene, you kind of hear that because he has an argument with his girlfriend, and you don't know quite why yet, but you know that he didn't retire on his own terms. It was not of his own choosing. So they have that little argument, and he gets mad and steals her car, and I can't remember exactly it's a night, because she's also a very rich girlfriend, and of course I say also, but really, at that time, this was made in 1974. Although he was a quarterback, you'd think he'd be a millionaire, but at that time, the NFL football players earned a good living, but nothing like today.
Sure.
Nothing where he's not Aaron Rodgers, who just signed $100 million
Sure.
contract. He probably made above what other people made, but he's not set for life like the quarter. So he stole a Maserati, I believe it was, that was hers, and then of course led. And I don't know if this is where Burt Reynolds became the king of the car chase, but. Obviously in the following movies, he used that to great effect. But this was got in a car chase with the local police department and was subsequently crashed and taken to jail. And the next thing you see in the movie is that he not waking up, but he's the next scene you see is he's getting taken into the prison, which they skip they don't do the trial thing and everything. They just basically
they go right to it.
They go right to throwing him in jail, and he's standing in front of the warden, who obviously is who's Eddie Albert from I guess Green Acres fame, and he's a big football fan, and obviously he knows who Paul Crewe is, and that's the name of Burt Reynolds' character, Paul Wrecking Crew, and of course the prison has a semi-pro football team, and Eddie Albert asked him what you think of semi-pro, and Burt Reynolds, and his normal becoming friends with everybody, said it's a joke. So
yeah.
So he pisses off the captain, and who's standing there with him, and who's actually the coach of the football team, and the warden. And so when asked if he would like to get a group of prisoners together so that they could give the guards a scrimmage, he just laughs and says, "Nah, I'm not interested in that. I want to do my time and get out of here." Exactly. Well. So obviously, that wouldn't have made a very good movie if you stopped there. So
the movie's kind of boring.
So I mean, obviously with some pressure, the guards are all pretty sadistic. The warden tells the boss there, Captain Kronauer, I think his name is, and he is he's told to get Mr. Crewe to change his mind, which he does, and so they get together a football team, and great. It's a fun movie. Mm-hmm. It's a lot more fun to watch than the other ones that we the
to say the least.
Movie. But it is again. There's some racial overtones. Again, 1974. So initially, all they had were the white white guys to play football, and all the African American prisoners weren't interested. They didn't want to play against the man, and and all the guards, if you notice, all the guards are white too. So, and it's down in Florida, so it's supposed to be in Florida. It's actually, I guess, was filmed at Georgia State Prison, because just a interesting fact.
Sure.
At the end, the Georgia State Prison, it gives thanks to the governor, Jimmy Carter.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Yeah. So
wow.
it was made when Jimmy Carter was the governor, and it was filmed at that state prison. So
For some of our younger viewers and listeners who don't know, didn't Burt Reynolds play football?
Yep,
at
absolutely.
FSU?
Yes. So he was, I believe it was in the 50s.
Mm-hmm.
53 to 55, he was a halfback, and he got hurt, I think, his sophomore year spring football.
Mm-hmm.
So he never, that kind of pushed him to join the drama team. After that, he actually hurt his knee and recovered from that, but then he lost his spleen.
Good night.
Which is. Obviously, it's funny that it actually happened to my son in high school. He didn't lose it. You just take a helmet in the back and
Golly, man.
So it at that with Burt Reynolds they had to do an operation and remove it, and that kind of finished his career. I guess luckily for us,
we got
him too,
sure.
him too, obviously. The film is really kind of. Because of the times, I think the early 70s, right after Vietnam, it's got the, obviously the juxtaposition of the good guys being the prisoners,
mm-hmm.
and the criminals, and the bad guys being the the guards,
yeah.
and everything, and just a really good movie. Well, it turns out obviously that the reason why he had been retired early was because of a point shaving scandal, and of course they get all the prisoners in and get them all on one team and playing the guards, and they're doing well, and at halftime the warden comes in and says puts pressure on him and says you're never going to get out of here if you guys win.
Wow.
So as a what did he get? Maybe a year, I think. He's like, I just want to do my time and get out of here. Well, then,
sure.
Obviously the warden's coming to him saying, hey, if you guys don't lose by, I think it was 28 points or something like that he's basically said, you will never get out of here. And he's got some leverage on him because of some things that had happened, and someone, one of their managers had died, and through different circumstances, and I don't want to ruin the whole movie for everybody, but yeah, so he did have some leverage on him, and for a little while, Burt did kind of start throwing the game, but then I'll leave it at that. It's a happy ending.
Speaking of happy endings, did you see the Adam Sandler one?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. And hey, it was fine. It was fine. It's when you have a favorite movie that gets a remake, you're never going to like it.
That's true.
I don't think it's possible to really like it. But yeah, I'm my kids. I have two children of that age that are older or adults now. But when that came out, and we did go see it at the movies, and I enjoyed it. I mean, it's
sure.
a good. I like Adam Sandler. I don't have anything against him. But yeah, I mean, obviously, classic versus. And again, one of the very good things I loved about the original Longest Yard, it had a lot of old football players in it that were former NFL. Ray Nitschke from the 13-time world champion Green Bay Packers.
You're lucky I like the Packers. I'll let that one slide.
Yeah, no, but hey, but then. Yeah, so there was others. Joe Kapp, who used to play for the Minnesota Vikings, quarterback, and there were several other. And I think they did the same thing with the new Longest Yard.
Yeah.
There was a lot of real football players.
I just remember Nelly was in it. He's from representing St. Louis.
And Burt Reynolds was in it.
He was, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. He actually played the kind of the old football player who was a manager, and I I can't remember the Michael Conrad was actually the original, and he was the guy that was actually Hill Street Blues. He played a lot. It was one of my favorite old shows. He was the old sergeant who always said, "Let's be careful out there."
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
okay. I got you.
Yeah, he was.
I got you.
And he's good. And yeah. So Burt Reynolds actually played that guy's character.
Very nice.
So
it's amazing. Burt Reynolds, he starred in so many famous movies, but there were some that he missed out on. One of my all-time favorite movies, Star Wars: A New Hope. He passed on Han Solo, and the one he said he regretted the most.
Yep.
Do you know what that is?
I think he chose to do. Was it Stroke or Ace? Because there was a movie that he was asked to do, and I think I know where you're going, but it was like right at 1984, and he was and he said that was it, and he chose to do Stroke or Ace. But go ahead, I can't think of it.
Was it Terms of Endearment?
Yes. Yep. And I think
Jack Nicholson
took won the
Oscar.
Academy Award.
That's crazy
for that. And and Stroke or Ace did not do very well. And I think that was his really that was right in 1984, and that was like one of his last one. Yeah, he said that he never recovered from that as far as his movie career goes. So yeah, sad. But like I said, I think for those 10 years he was a huge star, and I think that's why maybe he's not held up as one of the all-time greats, is because his the length of his span of his career where he was real hot was rather short. I mean, 10 years is not a long time.
But still had a great TV career and little revival in the mid-90s, and so definitely a huge movie star, and we're definitely sad to see him pass. I was really looking forward to it too, because he was supposed to be starring in the new Quentin Tarantino film Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which was supposed to come out next August, but he didn't get a chance to shoot his scene, so I was kind of disappointed about that. Burt Reynolds, you're definitely your family's in our thoughts and prayers, and thank you so much for all the movies you made, and thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching the Screen Team, and thanks for checking out this Burt Reynolds tribute. He is Brad. I am Chris. We're part of the Screen Team, and we want you to know before you go.